Hello and welcome to Lord of the Board. My name is Sam Smith and today we are going to be doing an overview and strategy guide for M.O.D.O.K. in the brand new Marvel Villainous set, Mischief and Malice. To win as M.O.D.O.K., you must show that you are fully loyal to A.I.M, the organization also known as Advanced Idea Mechanics, but we'll go ahead and stick with A.I.M for short. M.O.D.O.K. is able to show that he is loyal by moving his loyalty tracker from 1 all the way up to 5. Now there's also two other things that have to happen. You're going to have to actually create the cube, which is a specialty card in your deck. This is going to cost you a lot of power. And then you'll also have to play the Cosmic Cube, which is 6 power item card in your realm. Once you have all of those things, your loyalty to 5, creating the cube is in play, as well as the Cosmic Cube is in play. You can go ahead and activate the Cosmic Cube to win the game. This is a very fun character to play because some of the allies in M.O.D.O.K.'s deck actually hurt you if you use them to do M.O.D.O.K.'s dirty work. They will actually lower your loyalty tracker. So there's going to be this whole tug of war and balance between trying to gain loyalty, clear heroes from your realm without losing loyalty, and much more. Now, one thing I would recommend is that before getting started with this character, read the entirety of this manual included in the box for M.O.D.O.K. As well as before we get started, I just want to give a special shout out to today's sponsor, which is Ravensburger. Thank you so much for sponsoring this video. If you haven't checked out their games, they are the ones that have done Villainous, the Disney version, as well as the Marvel version, and a ton of other great games. Check the link down below if you want to check any of those out. Just like all my other videos, we're going to go ahead and look through M.O.D.O.K.'s cards. We're going to look through the 4 locations in his realm. I'm going to give you 3 tips and strategies, and then hopefully by the end, you'll be able to play M.O.D.O.K. just that much better. I'm going to be looking at the A.I.M soldiers as well as the A.I.M scientists together, seeing as playing them isn't much different. Now, the A.I.M soldier is a 2 power cost, 2 strength ally with no additional effect, and the A.I.M scientists are a 2 power cost, 1 strength ally that says if A.I.M scientists is used in a vanquish action, you'll lose 1 loyalty. It is pretty simple. The entire goal with these characters is just to get them inside of your domain. You want to have at least 4, and you'll see why later. Also, prioritize playing the scientists because these ones are actually more important for creating the cube. But other than that, do not use the A.I.M scientists to do a vanquish action. You do not want to lose any loyalty. We also have the A.I.M Scientist Supreme. She is a 1 power cost ally that has 2 strength, and her ability says when A.I.M Scientist Supreme is played, all other allies with A.I.M in their name in your domain gain +1 strength. At the start of your turn, if there are fewer than 3 A.I.M allies in play, lose 1 loyalty. So this card can be really good at buffing up your other A.I.M allies, but the latter half of the ability is something a little dangerous to play around with. And if you're not doing much vanquishing with your A.I.M allies anyways, this card might be a good one to just pass up. However, if you're able to get out a ton of A.I.M scientists and A.I.M soldiers, to where, having less than 3 isn't really going to be a problem, then this is a great card to even buff those allies up further in your domain. SUPER-ADAPTOID is a 4 power cost, 1 strength ally that says when SUPER-ADAPTOID is used in a vanquish action, he gains strength equal to the hero being vanquished. Now, this is a pretty expensive card, but it's really good at clearing away heroes in your realm without fear of losing loyalty. So this might be one of the few cards that you're actually able to use to get rid of those heroes. However, M.O.D.O.K.'s whole goal costs a ton of power, so playing this card could be a little bit dangerous. And then we have my favorite of M.O.D.O.K.S allies, which is the 4 power cost, 2 strength leader card. This says that while leader is in play, all of M.O.D.O.K.'s villain cards cost 1 less power to play. And yes, that means that some cards will be completely free to play. However, in that case, you are actually going to have to still use a play a card action, so you can't just play out your whole hand for free. This card is extremely good, and I just don't see a world in which this isn't worth purchasing, especially early in the game. This can discount a lot of your future cards and make some really niche strategies work later in the game, as opposed to if you didn't have it in play. Looking at M.O.D.O.K.S item cards, we've only got one, and it's a very important one. This is the 6 power cost Cosmic Cube card. This says when Cosmic Cube is played, gain 1 loyalty. And there is also an activate ability here that says to win the game. But Cosmic Cube can only be activated if loyalty is at 5 and the creating the cube card is in play already. Now, obviously, this card is definitely going to be one that you're going to want to play. In fact, you have to play it in order to win. However, the timing of which you play it is going to be important because you don't want to lose this card. There's a fate card that could be used against you called Powerless, which essentially makes you remove an item from a targeted villain's domain, and this is often going to be used on you if you have Cosmic Cube in play. So being a little bit more careful as to, are you ready to win the game, play it, and then win very quickly? You definitely don't want to play it too prematurely. I would also say that if you get to 4 loyalty, this is a great one to play to get to the 5th loyalty and then activate and use the card. That way it kind of comes out of nowhere for your opponents and they can't stop you from winning the game. And then we've got the effect cards. Now there are a lot of effect cards in M.O.D.O.K.'s deck. It's more than half of his deck is just effect cards. We're going to start with the A.I.M attack card. This is a 0 power cost card that says reveal cards from your villain deck until an ally is revealed. Play that ally immediately for no cost. Now all those revealed cards are just going to be shuffled back into the villain deck, but this is really special because this actually means that you don't have to spend any of that power to get allies into your realm. These are amazing cards. These are must-play cards, and you've got a couple of these in the deck. So when you get them, use them. If there's a chance that you actually pull a leader card with this, it's just like the most satisfying thing to have happen. But even if you're just getting A.I.M soldiers or A.I.M scientists, this is still going to be worthwhile because, like I said, you want to A.I.M having a mixture of 4 soldiers and scientists in your domain. No pun intended. And then we've got the M.O.D.O.K. Superior. This is a 0 power cost card that says to remove a hero and an ally from your domain, and then you lose 1 loyalty. This card is definitely extremely situational. You want to be extremely careful when using this card. It's gotta be an important hero to remove for you to actually use this card, but for the most part, I would say just discarding this is the better play. Loyalty is hard enough to come by as is, and you don't want to lose any more of it. And then we've got a very important effect card in M.O.D.O.K.'s deck. This is the 1 power cost effect card, Hail M.O.D.O.K. There are 3 of these cards in the deck, and this says that if you have 4 or more allies with A.I.M in their name in play, gain 1 loyalty. And that is why, my friends, you are trying to get 4 A.I.M allies in your domain. You need to be using these cards when you get them so that you can start gathering up that loyalty. This is one of the very few ways that you can even gain this loyalty. So you've got to get 4 A.I.M allies. If you don't have them yet, don't discard this card either because there are only 3 and you need to use all 3 in order to get up to 5. Now there are other ways to do it, but it's going to cost you a lot more power if you use those other ways. So this is definitely the best way to gain loyalty, but you have to have the A.I.M allies in play already. And then we have another extremely amazing card, Infinite Calculations. This is an effect card that costs 1 power, and it says when you play Infinite Calculations, take any uncovered action in your domain. Now, oftentimes as M.O.D.O.K, I'm going to be using this in one of 3 ways. It's usually going to be used to gain 3 power. However, I've also used it for activating a card. This can be kind of a niche way to win the game really sneakily. And then I also like to use it to discard just in case I'm not at a spot where I was able to do so. So there are definitely a lot of options with this card, and it's an extremely worthwhile one. Now there was technically another effect card, but I'm gonna go ahead and slide it over to this specialty card section because there is a specialty card that works in conjunction with this effect card. The cards that I'm talking about are Captured, the specialty card, as well as Psionic Blast, the effect card. Now in order to make sense of the effect card, let's talk about the specialty card first. This is a 3 power cost card that says activate, place a 0 strength hero in your domain on this card. Lose 1 loyalty. Now this hero is no longer in any domain and their ability is no longer active. Then at the start of your next turn, if a hero is here, set their strength to 1 and place this hero in any other domain. And then we've got Psionic Blast. This is a 1 power cost card that says target any hero in your domain, place a number of -1 strength tokens equal to the hero's strength on that hero. So essentially using Psionic Blast, you can actually choose which heroes you can then capture and then move those captured heroes with 1 strength and throw them on other people's domains. Calculate Probability is one of my favorite specialty cards in the game, period. This costs 3 power to play. This is an activate card that says you may discard any number of cards from your hand, draw cards equal to the number you discarded. And this essentially means that you can actually churn through your deck twice. You can use this ability, and then if you're on a discard spot, you can then discard as well. This can help you get through the deck extremely fast and is a very, very powerful ability. One that I would not actually look over playing because sometimes you're going to actually have to cycle the deck twice in order to win as M.O.D.O.K. So getting this card will help make that process extremely quick. And then the last specialty card that we have to talk about is going to be Creating the Cube, the other card that is essential and needed to win the game. This is a 5 power cost card, and it has an activate action that says to pay 3 power to use it. Once used, you gain 1 loyalty. Now you may activate Creating the Cube as long as you have at least 1 ally with Scientist in their name or Leader is in play. So it's either going to be Leader, the A.I.M Scientist Supreme, or your A.I.M Scientists that have to be in play in order for this to even be activated, as well as paying that 3 power. This, obviously, you've got to play it, but keep in mind that this is another expensive card. M.O.D.O.K. has a lot of expenses, so he needs a lot of power. We have looked at all of M.O.D.O.K.'s cards, so now it is time to look at M.O.D.O.K.'s domain. Starting with the A.I.M Laboratory. This has a Vanquish action, 2 play a card actions, and gain 3 power action. This is an extremely great location if there are no heroes on top covering that second play a card action. If there are heroes, this is still a good location because you're getting 3 power and be able to play a card. Next, we've got the A.I.M Island. Now this has a relocate action, it has a fate action, discard action, and play a card action. And you're probably going to be finding yourself going here quite often due to the fact that you can discard and play a card guaranteed no matter if there is a hero here as well. This is going to be one of 2 spots that you might just be going just to literally dig through the deck. And it's nice if you can fate, but oftentimes you will not be able to if covered. And then we've got the A.I.M Submarine. This has a play a card action, a discard action up at the top, an activate action, and a gain 1 power. This spot will be used if you need to activate a card. If it is covered, which it likely will be, seeing as you have 3 discard actions total in your domain, then this is literally only going to be used if you need to activate a card. and gaining 1 power just isn't that great. So A.I.M Submarine is very niche. You're probably not going to use it too much. However, the infinite calculations, you could literally use this at another spot to use an activate action. So really, A.I.M Submarine just isn't that great of a location compared to the other spots in your domain. And then we've got the A.I.M Warehouse. This gives 2 power, an activate action, a discard action, and a fate action. Now, keeping this location clear is very important for you. If you're able to do that, then you're able to go back and forth from the A.I.M Laboratory and the A.I.M Warehouse in order to be gaining 5 power. And you're going to be able to fate your opponents while doing so, and still have an activate card spot open while discarding cards. I mean, those are all the things that you're going to need to be doing as M.O.D.O.K. So going back and forth from A.I.M Warehouse, A.I.M Laboratory, and then occasionally the A.I.M Island. Overall, this domain is definitely made for M.O.D.O.K. as it has a lot of the opportunity that he needs in order for him to win the game. Let's do the math. Now, in order to win as M.O.D.O.K., it's going to cost you around 22 power on average. You could try to get less with A.I.M attack cards, getting those free allies out onto the board. Now, let's say you played all 3 Hail M.O.D.O.K.s, that's 3 loyalty. Then you play Cosmic Cube, that's 4 loyalty. In order to get that 5th loyalty, you can use Creating the Cubes Activate, which is going to cost an extra 3 power. So, like I said, you need to be gaining a lot of power as M.O.D.O.K. That makes those infinite calculations a lot more easy to decide to try and grab that 3 power. Now remember, if you're gaining 3 power and you use infinite calculations, you can choose to use that 3 power spot again. So you can gain 6 power in a turn. This is going to be a really good way to gain a lot of power really quickly. My other advice to this is that if you do have a Loki as an opponent, he will probably give you a lot of very tempting cards to gain power. Take the bait, take that extra power, because you can actually go a little bit faster than Loki to his goal oftentimes. So if you take a little bit of a gamble, taking that extra power can really help your gameplay. My other tip would be to never lose loyalty, ever. It's already hard enough to gain it. You're gonna have to go through your entire deck in order to get 5 loyalty. So if you're losing any loyalty, that means you're going to have to cycle back through that deck unless using some mystical powers that Loki possibly is going to tempt you to use. So my advice, play SUPER-ADAPTOID at the A.I.M Warehouse. You're gonna want to keep that spot clear. If you're never going to be using any of your loyalty losers, it's going to make it seem like it's going to make your game a little slower because you're not going to be using a lot of the top actions on your board. But really, you can survive off of these bottom actions. You really can, especially with infinite calculations. So keep that in mind. Too often, I see a lot of people have Creating the Cube and the Cosmic Cube out, but they have only 2 or 1 loyalty. If you have the Cosmic Cube out, I'm hoping that you're already at 5 loyalty, because that card could be removed by your opponents, and then it's going to be a lot longer for you to win. So you've got to be focusing on both of these goals at the same time. So really, churning through your entire deck is the most important thing. If the card is not important, discard it. Your whole goal is to get through your first deck cycle as fast as possible. If you are able to do that, then you will have a lot of success as M.O.D.O.K. Thank you everyone, that is it for the video. Let's go ahead and drop the beat.